All right, live from the Ram Cave. I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the June 16th, 2022 edition. Had to blast this one out because if I didn't blast it out now, I wasn't going to be able to blast it out later because actually outside my office, they're going to be doing some work. So wanted to get this thing pumped in. Had a lot of anniversary wishes sent to me the other day. Thank you so much. Yeah, my wife and I celebrated our 31st anniversary. So that's where I was caught up with yesterday. Wanted to get this in today because there's construction going on right outside that wall. Later on, they said your power is going to be off. So a couple things I wanted to get into today before we blast in and blast out is did you get your magazine yet? See, I got my pro football Lindy's magazine. Now, I don't want to dump on the hard work everyone does to put one of these things out. And I'm still a guy, even though I don't necessarily read them much, I glance through them. I don't buy them much anymore because basically the second they're printed, they're dated. We used to, when we were working at the Mid, we used to work all summer on getting our football preview ready, get our football preview ready. And we'd get our football preview ready. And then we'd find out that within 1 week, it was obsolete because players, got hurt, games were played, and it was pretty useless, right? So what we realized is all the stuff that we used to do during the summer and late spring to get our preview ready for the fall is that we just started posting those stories and our hits went through the roof. And so we stopped doing those big seasonal, entire where we was editions where we would just have a football preview. In fact, at the newspaper, we would literally do an entire sports edition for the entire paper to preview the football season. But it became dated. And so while I appreciate the work, that somebody would do, and I will buy it, I don't necessarily go to it for information. In fact, none of the magazines that are going to come out really give you the information that you can't get online everywhere. I do like the feel of it in my hands, but honestly, if you were growing up in the 70s and then later in the 80s, kind of the best you could ever get was the Don Heinrich Pro Football preview. It's oversized. It's really nice here. This one's with Bo Jackson at the Boz there. But you would get these, and they were tailored to each market, right? Raiders, Rams, in the Southland and stuff. But this was the best one. This was absolutely the best one. So if you were a serious fan, and it says football for the serious fan, this was the one you waited to get from the newsstand. And probably the only negative thing about the internet, while it's great, I made my living off the internet. Probably the only thing that the internet ruined was some of these really good preview magazines. You never buy the first one that comes out. They might have glossy pictures and breakdowns of the cheerleaders and everything like that. But I do miss the days because I like trucking this with me. I used to keep this with me. It'd go to camp. It'd go on the airplane with me. It would go on the road with me. Everywhere I went, this is what always went with me. And I read all these articles because this was back before KBM, Kiss Butt Media, where they would actually tell you players wearing out, a players wearing down, and as opposed to just all the fluff that we get nowadays. So anyway, wanted to get that in there. A couple other things before we get to a little bit of Ram talk here is the Steelers. My friend Rob from Missouri, who's a Steeler fan, figured that one out. He's all excited because the Steelers aim to meet Fitzpatrick for 4 years and 73.6 rocks, and they're all jazzed. And he's a safety, man. Look what the Rams paid. The Rams paid less than probably $5 million or $4 million on all their safeties combined last year, and they won a Super Bowl, and they were able to pull a safety off the street. Now, you can't sell it short. You can't sell what Eric Whittle did short, but unless the guy's name is Ed Reed, I'm not going to give him 73 rocks, and I'm not going to guarantee half of it. He better be like Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu or Ronnie Lott. He better be something at another level. He better be Kenny Houston or something, right? Because I know everyone's all excited about the Steelers. My friend Rob. Sorry, Rob. Sorry, I wouldn't pay that much for a safety. Just wouldn't do it. What I would pay is 2 for 32 to keep Hunter Renfrow extended for the Raiders, and that's what the Raiders did. Renfro's 27. He's going to be 29 when the deal's over. 2 for 32. It's not that bad. It's a nice deal for the Raiders. Good for them. Overlooked a couple weeks ago was the retirement of 49ers center Alex Mack. And now Mack had a great career, all-decade team. Everything gave the 49ers a good year last year. And they had an idea that he was probably going to retire, but he made it official at the beginning of June. And it's funny, Trey Lance is getting all the attention because there's a lot of concerns. Just as you hear more and more stuff bubbling out, there are some concerns about Trey Lance. And I don't know. I don't know what to say about Trey Lance. I think he's going to be fine, but it's okay with me because he's going to have a year of growing, or at least half a year of growing. And that's going to hold the 49ers back. And the 49ers still scare me a little bit as a Ram fan. But Trey Lance now struggling a little bit, not necessarily, just grabbing the job, and Alex Mack's retirement. I think it's fantastic news, right? Right now, the starting center for the 49ers is Jake Brendel. He's listed on the depth chart as number 1. He's an undrafted center out of UCLA. Hey, he got 6 snaps last year, so he's ready, right? And then, of course, the 49ers drafted a guy named Donovan West out of ASU who plays center but was projected to be able to play all along the line. And honestly, he was projected to be grabbed in the draft somewhere 4th round on down, and he went undrafted, and the 49ers signed him. So he's on their roster as well. But either way you put it, the 49ers do have some holes that could cost them. It's not big, but right, what do they say to the Titanic? 5 compartments would flood, but not 6. Well, they're at 5 right now, and because you're uncertain about your center, you're uncertain about your quarterback, and such. So it's kind of shaky. So I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Rams did re-sign Trayvon Howard, so all is right with the world. I did predict he'd come to Los Angeles. Of course, I said the Chargers, but because they're signing every other ex-Ram, I expect Bob Klein, Pat Kern, and Buford McGee to show up there tomorrow. But the Rams re-signed Trayvon Howard, and that's great depth at linebacker. So happy to have that done. As we roll down the stretch here, speaking of things you could hold in your hand, my books, Joe Torosian's Tangent Dreams and Sin Virus, they're all available on Amazon. Now, these are the kind of books, again, you could hold in your hand. You could take them anywhere. I used to sit in the jacuzzi and read. I don't take my electronic devices into a jacuzzi, but I do take paper. I like to fold them over, dog ear, and make notes in my books that I read. And so while everyone's telling us, it's all ebooks now, and there's truth to that, we do like print, just like we like the old school print here for the magazines and such. So if you could do that, that would be a great support. Hit like and subscribe to this podcast, and I'd be very much appreciative. All right, good. Got the commercial out of the way. And you can get all that on Amazon, or follow me at joetorosian.com or JoeT13B at Yahoo or Twitter. Odell Beckham, I like him. I want him back, but I got my click, okay? I got my Super Bowl. He contributed. We got what we needed. We got him cheap. And if he finds a better offer out there, good for him. God bless. And may it all go well for him. If he stays, great. But you know what? What I really loved is, because the Rams do have the leverage, is they did not wait around. They signed Allen Robinson. They made moves. And right now they're just as good at receiver. I still am a Robert Woods guy. But they're just as they're right up there where they were last year, with Tutu Atwell playing the role of Deshaun Jackson, probably with a better attitude. So we don't need Odell. But mid-season, it would be great to bring Odell back. We've said all this stuff. Where is he going to go? Okay, here's my thing. If you could say goodbye to Robert Woods, you could say goodbye to Odell Beckham. All right. I just don't care anymore. And I keep hearing stories the Rams are maybe not treating him right and stuff. It's like, they're paying for his rehab, right? I mean, they're paying for his rehab. And who's going to sign a guy with a second ACL in 4 years? So please, stop. Again, KBM, you're trying to gin up something that's not there. And if he walks, where's he going to go? Is he going to go freeze with Keister off in Green Bay and not win? maybe Tampa, but Tampa signed Justin Gage. They've got their guys, right? They got Mike Evans, they got Chris Godwin. They got their guys. Where's he going to go? Go to the AFC West, right? There's plenty of action there, Good deal going with the Chargers. I just throw that out there. Speaking of wide receivers, Cooper Kupp turned 29 yesterday. So happy late birthday to Cooper Kupp. But again, folks, be prepared. Will you get a season in age 29 like you did at age 28? He's had knee injuries in the past. I know it sounds awful to talk about Cooper Kupp, but remember, everything in the NFL is fleeting. These bodies mangle, these bodies break. And there are the outliers that continue to go. Is Coop one of them? We'll see. The Rams extended him, of course, 3 years, $80 million. So he's happy. But happy birthday to Cooper Kupp, who's 29. Okay. Frank Corral, speaking of birthdays, today, remember former Ram kicker Frank Corral kicked for the Rams from 78 through 81, did double duty in 80 and 81 as a kicker punter. He turns 67 today. Corral's out of UCLA. Had a nice little run for the Rams, of course, was the Rams kicker in Super Bowl 14. Did miss an extra point, but we're not going to hold him, Well, yeah, we are. You missed the extra point, dude. Come on. Help me, right? But happy birthday to Frank Corral. Quick notes here. You also saw where the Rams signed a running back named A.J. Rose and tight end Jared Pinkney. These are practice bodies, right, guys? Remember, the Rams go in with less bodies during the summer because they hardly do anything with their starters, and especially during preseason games. Starters don't play, so they need to have a little more depth. And so A.J. Rose and Jared Pinkney were signed, a running back and a tight end. And if they see any significant time on the field, it means we've got significant issues on the team. But wanted to make sure you were aware of that. All right. So hopefully my construction out the door will be back. Will be done. We'll be back online tomorrow with a little more traditional show, and then I'm going to be a little spotty again because I'm working camp next week at up north, Northern California. I help run a CIT academy, which is a counselors and training academy, where we train young people how to be counselors and give them tools to help us when they work kids camp or work at the campground. So that camp's Granite Ridge, by the way. That is right there. And I'm the Outsiders director. So anyway, we'll probably be broadcasting from there without the nifty set you see behind us. So anyway, thank you so much. I'm Joe Teresi, and thanks for clicking on, and we'll talk to you soon.